A startling fact. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, over 100 Americans die every day from opioid overdoses. While Governor Cuomo and President Trump are both increasing efforts to ease this crisis, there are issues that have rarely been discussed. For example, how exactly does geography contribute to New York's opioid epidemic? As part of our ongoing series, Chasing the Dream, Poverty, and Opportunity in America, Jack Ford spoke with Carol Graham, author of the Brookings Institution study titled The Geography of Desperation in America. Jack began the conversation by asking Ms. Graham how social factors like income and race play a role in this national problem.
So obviously finding that poor blacks were the most optimistic group and poor whites were, in relative terms desperate was a surprise. That was before we'd uncovered the rising mortality rates, the extent of the opioid epidemic. And in fact, these findings helped me start to get into that exploration. And about the time I found the desperation findings, the Center for Disease Control data became public, and Case and Angus Deaton published a study showing that our mortality rates were rising due to preventable deaths among middle-aged, uneducated, or blue-collar whites. We've now done a lot more to try and explain that, and I think there are two different kinds of explanations. One is simply, it's economic. It's the decline of the white, blue-collar working class, the hollowing out of manufacturing and mining jobs in the heartland of the country. All of those match with the desperation and mortality trends. The opioid crisis then fits into that. But the second explanation, which is a bit harder to fully understand, is that we find much higher levels of resilience to negative shocks among poor minorities, blacks and Hispanics.
Why do you think that is? Because as you said, in some ways it seems almost counterintuitive, certainly surprising, as you mentioned. So why do you think you're seeing, when you talk about the level of optimism being higher for the poor minorities than it is for poor whites?
Well, first of all, just in the data, it's clear that poor minorities are much less likely to report depression or commit suicide in the face of a negative shock than are poor whites. And I think that has to do with the history of adversity. Minorities have generally had to face a lot of adversity either over their lifetimes or their parents have. And so people do become more resilient to adversity and shocks if they've had to deal with them a lot. So I think that's part of the explanation. The other part of the explanation is that poor whites are falling behind in relative terms. So the blue-collar, white, working-class way of living, the Ozzie and Harriet household in the heartland, are really eroding very quickly. It used to be, for example, that when we looked at marriage rates, we'd say, well, marriage rates are lower among poor blacks than poor whites. Now the big gap in marriage rates is really across rich and poor. So poor whites are as likely to live in single-headed households as are poor blacks. Education rates, the big gaps in education used to be between blacks and whites, and now they're between poor and rich. So gradually, Hispanics and blacks have been making progress. So there's still challenges, there's still discrimination, there's still adversity, but they've been making important progress.
The role that community can play in terms of optimism, and comparing the communities surrounding the poor blacks to the communities surrounding the poor whites. What did you find?
But we find that both poor blacks and poor Hispanics have much more community. It could be family, it could be churches, it could be, for example, blacks in my data are the racial group most likely to say religion is important in their life. I controlled for religion in these studies, so they're not driven by religion, but there are things about that provides a community, and that's much harder to measure in data, but it makes a difference to people's, reliance. They have somebody to rely on.
Last question for you. You talked about the geography of all of this, and you looked at various regions. How about our region here, the New York City, the New York metropolitan, extending out into New Jersey? Specifics, findings in this area?
Well, it was a bit of a surprise because in general, the general story is that you get the kind of the most desperation for poor whites in the heartland and much more optimism for poor minorities in the southern coast and then the eastern and western coasts. And then we find that places, for example, for minorities, places that are very overwhelmingly white and they're very much a minority, like say Washington State, also aren't great for poor minorities. So the tri-state area surprised me a little bit in that we did get pretty much equal levels of optimism for poor blacks and poor whites, slightly higher for minorities still, but not as big a gap as in other places. And then we found that minorities reported a lot of worry and a lot of pain. And I've been trying to understand that better. I think it may have to do with the pace of life and the kinds of jobs that they may be holding that could probably be often manual labor, long hours, you know, living in a region that's vibrant but also has very high cost of living, a lot of inequality. So that you stand out in having relatively high levels of optimism for poor minorities, but also a lot of worry, a lot of stress, a lot of reported pain.
Right. Well, it is a fascinating study, and Carol Graham, I want to thank you once again for coming on, sharing your thoughts and your findings there. You be well.
Thanks for having me on.